Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Metropolis Radio. Today, we are taking a look at the Screen Rant article, and I know I'm a few days late, but I think it's still rather interesting. The headline reads, "A Harley Quinn solo movie wouldn't be as fun as her team-up," says Margot Robbie. Now, I'm going to be the first one to say it. I was not the biggest fan of David Ayer's Suicide Squad when that released in 2016, but the one thing that I really liked from that movie was Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and I know I'm not alone in that sentiment. I know a lot of people genuinely feel that way, and even the article even cites it. And the funny thing is like many people forget that Harley Quinn first debuted not in the comics, but in Batman the animated series, and was dressed originally as like a court jester. But they gave her a lot more, sex appeal as the years went on. And the first thing to really give her a lot of sex appeal was Batman. I think it was Batman Arkham Asylum that released back in '09. But anyway, not that important. So the article here reads: the Suicide Squad will indeed mark the third time Robbie has played Harley Quinn. Yes, she played her in Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. I haven't heard too many good things about Birds of Prey. I personally haven't seen, so I'm not going to comment on that movie. On the big screen, though fans have embraced her first two team-ups, many still long to see Quinn get the spotlight in a solo film rather than another ensemble piece. Robbie, however, doesn't think a Quinn solo film makes sense, and she has very solid reasons for believing this to be the case. Speaking to Total Film via Games Radar, I have heard of Games Radar, Robbie explained why Harley Quinn will always need a team around her. Quote, "Something I noticed about Harley from the start is she's always going to have more fun when she's in a group dynamic. I've always said putting Harley on her own would be like putting a kid on a playground on their own. It's never going to be as fun as when it's popular with other kids to play with. When she's in a group, you're always going to see the most come out of her personality because she's got people to play with and pick apart or fall in love with or backstab or whatever. She's always decided how she feels about the people around her and then acts accordingly, which is always unpredictable." End quote. Now, personally, I think what a Harley Quinn solo movie absolutely needs to be, and I know I'm rambling ideas off the top of my head, is they really needed to do a movie with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn and Jared Leto's Joker to show the relationship there. I know that they tried to do that in Suicide Squad, but let's be honest, that basically went over like a lead balloon. And imagine if you have a DCEU movie, a superhero movie that focuses entirely on the villains, is more of a romantic comedy, and Batman is constantly in the background, and they're always having to fear him. The movie wouldn't cost that much money to make, and movies like Joker prove like you don't need to make a $100 million movie to have a hit. But getting back to the Screen Rant article, it's indeed true that a big part of the fun with Harley Quinn is watching how she interacts with other characters. Maybe, but this is the kind of character you need to get on her own. That way you can you can develop her, and like I said, especially develop her relationship with the Joker, because that's what her character was. She was kind of the Joker's companion. Birds of Prey especially gave Robbie's character some fun people to bounce off of. In particular, blah blah blah. The Suicide Squad will give Quinn some more even interesting screen partners, and the group dynamic figures to be even better with James Gunn. Yeah, despite her team-up success, it's hard to blame Harley Quinn fans for wanting to see the character star in a solo movie. No shit, because you need to develop the character. The less screen time is devoted to characters besides Harley Quinn, the more screen time can be devoted to Harley Quinn, who, after all, is the star of the show. However, Robbie's statements may make it seem highly unlikely that a true Harley Quinn solo movie will get made. Indeed, the character's whole future after the Suicide Squad seems somewhat up in the air. Birds of Prey 2 could theoretically still happen. I highly fucking doubt that. And they do note that, but the weak box office for the first movie might convince DC not to go in that direction. Yeah, and I think with Birds of Prey, not only was it just bad marketing, the worst part about that movie that I heard was that the movie was R-rated for the sake of being R-rated, and that's never a good reason to make an R-rated superhero movie. Back to the article, there are, of course, plenty of other DC characters Robbie's Quinn could be paired with, including the Joker himself. No shit! That should have been, like, the first thing done after David Ayer's Suicide Squad, was show the relationship between, her and Jared Leto's Joker. In fact, you may even salvage Jared Leto's Joker. That's even if Jared Leto still wants to come back to the role, and that's entirely up in the air as well. Yeah, it all comes down to how long Robbie wants to continue playing the character, and how DC wants to deploy her. The wild card role certainly suits Harley Quinn well, and it will be fun seeing her stir up things again in the Suicide Squad. Yeah, but I do agree. Like I said, I do agree with the fan base that a solo movie would probably benefit Harley Quinn more than harm her. But guys, I've already gone on long enough, and I actually want to know what you guys think. Even about my wild idea is to do a sort of like romantic comedy centered around Harley Quinn and the Joker, with Batman always in the background trying to mess up their plans. It might be a fun movie. It might be completely ridiculous. Again, I'm just rattling off the top of my head, but what the fuck do I know? I'm just some random jackass on the internet spouting my fucking opinions like everybody else does. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And if you've been following me for a while, you know I am terrible at ending these, so I will just see you guys next time.